So now we know why. We got my invitation to quit. It was over $20. All of this for $20 for 1 hour. There was another component to it. That wasn't actually really it. That was part of it. But I never mentioned that. I never brought it. I never called it to his attention and say, Larry, actually, according to our contract, according to your offer, you sleazebag, because you were trying to pull a fast one on me and get me to accept 1666 as a higher number of something between 20 and 25. Yeah, I didn't have to make it up, Larry, but I never mentioned that. I had a much bigger concern. In lieu of scheduling the musical rehearsals, as it is Larry's job to do, Larry instead gave your student, Robert, a guitar player, and at that moment the only other musician in the band. Isn't that right there a breach of contract? Larry said there may or may not be a bass player and drummer. It's supposed to be 2 guitar players, a bass player and a drummer, and a keyboard player. That's the show. That's what the show requires. Anyway, in lieu of scheduling these rehearsals, both for the students and for the band, which are required, which is his job to do, he gave your student, Robert, my phone number. Now, Larry knows I teach private music lessons for a living, and he knows I charge nearly 3 times what he's paying me. We went over that early on in an email dated September 1st, 2008, where we finalized our agreement. I wrote to Larry, $25 an hour is less than half my rate for lessons. $20 is almost down to a third. I was explaining that I could accept his offer of $20 to $25 per hour, but could not go lower than $20. Larry agreed to all of this. So, in response to Larry's asking me to make up rehearsal time that your contract states that I'm not required to do, and over $20, in an email dated October 14th, 2008, I wrote, also, a guy named Robert from Tandem called. He said he was playing guitar for the show and wanted to get together for some help. Maybe we can factor that in somehow. Hundreds of dollars of my time. I was willing to do this because I could tell at that point there was no way we were ever going to get any work done in those rehearsals. And I had my reputation on the line, and I said I still didn't know about the band, if there was going to be bass or drums. It looked like it was going to be just me and the guitar, an electric guitar, which is just stupid to have the electric guitar without the bass and drums. Well, might as well just do it solo piano. I was really annoyed thinking that I was going to have to do the show solo piano because basically Robert was telling me he couldn't do the job, which he shouldn't be able to without rehearsals. But Larry wasn't going to allow that, so I was willing to do that. 6 to 12 hours probably, depending on how much work you needed. 2 to 4 3-hour rehearsals. I mean, let's do the math at $55 an hour, right? Over $600 worth of my time for his to make up for his $20. This man has no respect for other people's time. Larry's response: perhaps we should have discussed what it meant to be an accompanist to start with, but I think it's best we get it flat now. Yeah, I know. We keep hearing that over and over and over again. When do we get to the real reason why he sent me that? This is it. There you go. Yeah, it was the $20, the hour that I missed, which I didn't have to make up, but I didn't bring that up. Really, it was me offering to do hundreds of dollars of extra work on my own without charging anything. Back to Larry's email. We're going to get past the first and last sentence now, and here's actually, the second sentence. Get it flat now. I expect you to come in prepared to play the music. Sounds reasonable, right? Unless you know what's supposed to happen here. Larry is describing what it means to be a solo pianist. What it means to be an accompanist is to rehearse with the people you are accompanying. In this case, singers and a band. I go to the rehearsals prepared to rehearse the music. That's why they call them rehearsals. So that we, not I don't play the music. We can be prepared to perform it. In an email dated October 28th, 2008, in response to one of my many attempts to do the show, after Larry had accepted my resignation on the 25th, and I did everything I could in between that time, in response to one of these many attempts to do the show, Larry writes, "Thank you for your offer. We're okay. We're going with being raw. We'll make hundreds of mistakes towards that, and you're standing up for what you believe makes a lot of sense." Oh. Wow, Larry actually gets it. Sort of, almost. He does acknowledge that other people have work to do. It's the first sign I've seen of that. He's just not emotionally prepared to let them do it. What does he think I believe in, other than doing my job? Preparing the students being the ones who are the featured people making the music. That's what an accompanist is. He plays a supporting role to somebody else who is the featured artist. In this case, your students. I don't play the music. I help them learn the music, and I accompany them while they sing the music. Preparing the students so they don't make hundreds of mistakes. Fixing those hundreds of mistakes, one at a time. A lot of them only take a few seconds. Just, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to nod here, or wait a second, that went wrong. We got to, what happened? Okay, that's what went wrong there. Or I'll show you how quickly some of these things can be fixed. It's what we do. One at a time, we go through it all, and we iron out all these wrinkles. Preparing the students so they don't make hundreds of mistakes is what rehearsals are for. We'll talk more about being raw later. His vision. The email from Larry. Your practice time is on your time, not ours. I have never, ever asked to be paid for private practice. It's ridiculous. And I've never gone to a rehearsal and asked everyone to sit there while I do my private practice. I wouldn't do it to your cast, and I wouldn't do it to Robert. I wouldn't have Robert over for a rehearsal and have him sit here while I do my private practice. I can't afford to pay for practice. Again, this is what is known on this planet as a rehearsal, and that is exactly what is supposed to be happening during the scheduled rehearsals. It's included in your fee. The fee is supposed to be for the musical rehearsals. Did I mention that Larry has nothing to direct and is just directing us to run an unlearned show over and over again and never fix anything? I am paying you more than any other accompanist in the area. Live Arts pays under $500 for a show, 4 County even less. Can you feel the breach of contract coming on?